There we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in. Happy Sunday, you guys. How's it going? I want to know. And if you don't want to tell me, totally fine. Keep your secrets. But who do we got? Hi, Bold. Thank you for the check in. Welcome in. Hi, Vader. Thank you for the check in. And hello to anyone else that maybe just hasn't made themselves known yet. How was your week? How was your weekend? I want to know. And if you don't want to tell me, I really do get it, but like, I do like it when you guys tell me what's going on. It's nice. It's nice to share. But maybe it's Sunday, or maybe it is Sunday, and maybe you're just not feeling that chatty. When was the last time I was here? Let me double check first so I make sure you guys don't hear any repeats. The 7th? What day was the 7th? Tuesday. Okay, so the last time I was here was last Tuesday. Last Tuesday. So what happened after that? Wednesday, I just went. I actually really went. I can just sum it up real quick. Wednesday and Thursday, I went to work. And I had dinner with my parents. So actually, on Wednesday, I had dinner with one of my friends that she's kind of newer. She's the one that kind of talks like this and ooh, best friend, hey. Like she's that one. I don't know if I've done my impersonation of her on here before, but I went and had dinner with her on Wednesday cuz I've not really had a one-on-one dinner or really anything with her. So I invited her out to this Korean fried chicken place, and she's also Filipino, and we sat together and we had that, and it was actually a really good time. Was supposed to be at a party over the weekend. Ooh, but it got rescheduled. Oh, boo. So you decided to drink alone instead. Don't want to waste the alcohol. Yeah, alcohol's got a short shelf life, so I get it. Gotta take advantage of that opportunity. What'd you drink? If you feel like sharing, you also don't have to. But I had dinner with her on Wednesday, and I was a little nervous because our conversations have been a little surface level, but we actually had a really good time on Wednesday. It was so good that we went to Ulta afterwards. And then I Thursday I had dinner with my parents. Just me and them. No brother and his girlfriend. But yeah, I had dinner with my parents. It was good. My dad made steak and it was delish. He told me he doesn't want me to call one of his dogs fat anymore because I'll usually be like, "What's up, Tubby?" or "Hello, Chubby," or Chunky. But he's like, "I don't want you calling him fat anymore. I don't want him to get a complex." So I thought that was funny. Just vodka, nothing fancy. I'm a vodka girl too. Vodka and rum. Uh, and then Friday, guys, I went to work, but I only went for a half day because after that, it was time for the big beach trip. And oh my God, guys, we drove. Well, actually, I say we, but I drove the whole time. I did like over 10 hours of driving. Um, like, it was a long day. Not over 10 hours of driving. It's probably more than that if you count like the whole weekend in total for the trip. But it was so there were 7 of us. The 2 married couples rode together. Me and one girl took my Jeep, and then the last guy took his truck. So they ended up being men that were coming out of our friend group, and it's fine. They weren't too bad. You did insist on taking Ruby. Yes. Yes. I took Rubes. I'm the best driver out of my friends, so it's okay. But we drove. We all got there. Well, so me and the girl got there first, right? We got there first to the Airbnb. And it's late at night, mind you. And the actual time that we were supposed to check in was a while ago. And when I walked in, I saw a pizza box, and I'm like envisioning it because this was horrible. I saw a pizza box and a box of Michelob Ultras on the counter in the kitchen, and I was like, huh, like that's kind of weird. But I just figured maybe they didn't get the trash. So then I'm like, okay, well, let's go check out the rooms. I walk into the first room, and the bed is not made, sheets everywhere, and I'm like, huh. And then I look, and there's towels. use dirty towels. So then I go into the other rooms, and sure enough, it's the same thing. And then I saw a literal cockroach by the freaking balcony door. There was Cheetos on the ground. There was crap all on the table, and I was like, are there still people checked in here? Like, did the other people check out? So immediately I messaged the owner, and I'm like, you need to call me right now. And they call me, and I'm like, oh, and the other thing was we only got 2 parking spots, even though we had 3 vehicles. And I had let them know this, but they were like, sorry, like, we can't do anything. The other person will have to park on the outside of the property, which also really pissed me off, but whatever. And then I get up there, and then this happens. And thankfully, like I said, we're the first people there. So I'm like, maybe I can deal with this before. So the owner calls me, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, it doesn't even look like it's been cleaned. There's actually a cockroach on the floor that's dead. Like, I was so mad when I walked in. It was horrible. I was like, I never yell, and I really try to be understanding when talking to people, but this pissed me off so bad. And the guy was like, okay, well, I'll see if the cleaning team can get out there. Like, I'll see if they can clean. And I'm like, no, ain't no see about it. I'm like, they need to come here now. Like, it's late at night. You know, like, if it had just been the towels, fine, we could have just used our beach towels. But the fact that the beds were dirty, like, there's no alternative. All of the beds were dirty, except one. So, not clearing Asia was one thing, but leaving the beds as is. Exactly. So I was like, you got to get them out here now. Like, this is unacceptable. I'm like, I'm pretty much on the point of just screaming at this guy, because he's like, oh, well, we'll see. I'm like, ain't no see about it. Somebody needs to come here, or you need to figure something out. And he's like, well, I could just cancel the reservation and give you a refund. And I'm like, no, like, it's like 10, 11 o'clock at night. Like, it's so late. And I'm like, no, like, like, we can't just find another place. So I start looking to find a place that can accommodate us. And the next place that I found was going to be like $4,000. And I was like, no, like, this just isn't going to happen. So the guy's like, the cleaning people are coming. It should be 30 minutes max. Let me tell you, that was a freaking lie. I started being like, are they actually coming, or is this just something you're making up? Because I really need to know, so we can start making, like, you know, like, alternative plans, like, figure something out. But I just told, like, when the other group of friends showed up, I was like, hey, just, like, go to a bar and hang out. And they're like, you sure we could just come? I'm like, no, like, don't come here. The cleaner's supposed to come. It's filthy. Like, we'll just be in the way. Me and, you know, and the girl will wait here, whatever. So they go. Eventually, after, like, over an hour, the cleaners show up, and they clean it good, because you wouldn't have known that all that crap was there. They changed out all the sheets, they brought new towels, they did the floors, they got rid of the roach. Like, of course it was a lie. 30 minutes to stop you tearing him a new one. I know, but I was tearing him a new one, because it was just constantly like, oh, 30 minutes. Oh, it's like 5 minutes. Oh, it's 8 minutes. I'm like, they're still not here. Like, every time we heard somebody outside, we would, like, run to the door thinking it was them, and it wasn't. It was so frustrating. But they came, they cleaned up, and it was really good. Whatever. After that, I was like, hey, everybody can come now. So they came to the room, and thankfully, like, we were still able to turn it around. We decided to make up for this. We just got drunk. We got really drunk, and we played Tapple and Uno and something else. I can't think of what it's called. But we just played games, and we were drunk, and it was a really good time. And all was well in the kingdom. I apologized profusely. I cried, like, in front of the girl, because I was just angry, but I was, like, crying and smiling, and I was like, I was like, I do not know what to do. Like, I was shaking. I was in such a rage, because it took too much effort to get there just to show up for this. So that was really rough. But she was like, thank you for taking the brunt of this stress and for figuring out, because like nobody else was really trying to figure out, like, what the way forward was, I guess, which is fine, because I wouldn't expect them to. So, like, I was the one trying to find another place. I even thought about, like, booking us all hotel rooms, and just, like, I was just going to pay for it, because I felt so bad. Like, it was horrible. But everybody was really nice and understanding. But my friend did text the other 2 girls, and she's like, hey, please tell your spouses, like, don't say anything, because if they do, she might just rip their heads off. Because I was pretty wound up. And I was like, I'm already beating myself up so much. I really don't need anyone else to do it. So I planned out / sorted this trip. I did, per usual. And here's the thing with this Airbnb. It had a 4.8 8 rating. Even like every single review is a glowing endorsement. So it sucks so much. Like I vetted this per, like that's usually how it goes. I like read all the reviews. I even sort it by like the most recent to see if it's held up. So I was really upset that this happened. Um who invited the randos? They're not the randos, it's their spouses. That's what it is. I wanted it to just be the girls, but it didn't work out that way. So they wanted to bring, it was my friend and her, you guys know, the husband that I just hate. And we can't say like, oh, only one husband can come. So the other girl brought her husband. And then we brought like to, I don't know, yeah, but get another guy. We brought our other friend who we don't see as much. So that's how it worked out. But the couples had to share a room. The couples had to share a room, and then me and the girl shared a room, and then the guy slept by himself. Thought you said there was new people. Oh no, not new people. Not new people. These are all people I've known for years. So yeah, we had a really good night. The day turned out great. The next morning there was supposed to be some rain, but it didn't rain at all, and it was the most beautiful beach day. We got all our stuff down there. We ate breakfast at the Airbnb. The two of my friends, they made eggs and bacon and like little croissant sandwiches. So it was really delicious. But I was like, hey guys, like here's the plan. I want to be on the beach by like 10:30 before it gets too hot to set up. Da 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 da. And my friend's husband that I don't like, I wish I could just tell you guys their names, but he took the longest to get out. Like I had to be like, all right, we're about to walk off without him. Like he's got to get out here in the next 2 seconds or we're just leaving and he'll catch up. Cause we were all literally like just waiting for him. And he's pretty notorious for doing this. So I was like, all right, like this is the 1 minute warning. Like I'm corralling everybody. We get outside, we walk a little bit further to make sure we're further away from people. We set up the pop-up tent. And then I guess a second pop-up tent got put up and I put up my little umbrella in the lounger. We had my cooler. It was great. Friend's dumb husband is his name at this point. That's pretty much how I refer to him all the time. He was complaining about how hot it was already during the walk, and I was like, well, that's why I was trying to hurry, tee, like trying to be polite about it, but also letting him know like this is exactly what I like. The earlier we left, the cooler it would have been, but but it's okay because we still got out there. Got a great spot. The water felt amazing. It didn't even rain. It was so gorgeous outside. The guys, like one guy left to go get a massage, and then like another guy left to, I don't know, go watch the game at a bar. And the girls stayed out there like the whole day, but the guys at some point like split up and all went off to do their own thing. And then when it was time, we packed up, loaded up, went back to the room. Everybody got cleaned up, and then it was like, all right, time for dinner. And once again, I had to rush that guy. Hi, Yerp. Thank you for the check-in. Happy Sunday. I had to rush that one guy, my friend's husband. I was like, I like banged on the window on the outside. I was like, come on, like, let's go. Like, we're all leaving. We're all out here ready. We're starving. Da da da. So he come running out and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. We get in the car, drive. We had to take 2 vehicles, drive to the restaurant, eat, have some drinks, enjoyed. And then the guys split off to go do their own thing because they didn't want to go dancing, and the girls went dancing. And we walked. Well, first we did karaoke because we needed to kill time before the clubs got popping. I'm trying to like wrap this up because I know I've been rambling, but go to the karaoke place. My friend sang, the first friend sang Like a Stone. I did Higher by Creed. The next friend did Before He Cheats by Carrie Underwood. And then the last girl did 9 in the Afternoon by Panic at the Disco. And it was just, I was so happy because like usually it's just me and the girl that I shared a room with that does karaoke. So it was cool that all 4 of us did it. And then we walked to one club and they were like, yeah, there's a $20 cover charge. And we were like, $20? And I looked up and I could see that nobody was dancing. And I was like, $20 and no one's dancing? And the lady was like, I know, it's crazy. So we were like, bump that, like, let's go try this other place that I hadn't been to before. And we went into this new place. And from the outside, the music was playing. So we were dancing in the parking lot. And this truck drove by us and was like honking its horn, like, yeah, get it, girls. And then like this group of drunk women were like, yes. So like we were dancing on the outside. And then we get inside the place. And most people aren't dancing. And I was like, oh my gosh, like the music is bumping. Like, why is nobody popping it right now? But whatever, we switched tables to get closer to the like one of these big fans they had set up, and we shook it all night. Oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. I danced so much. I was sweating. But it was perfect. We all wore like comfortable footwear, which was like my flip flops, and then like two girls had sneakers on, another one had flip flops on, and it was just like the perfect night of womanhood and dancing. My friend who has the somewhat nice husband, he offered to come pick us up, so we didn't have to do the few mile walk back home, however long it would have been. So he came and picked us up. We went home. I had to rinse my body off because I was gross. We were all kind of gross. I think we all ended up taking a shower. I don't know, but like if the other two girls did, but another girl that shared a room with me, we both ended up like we got a rinse off. Then we got in bed. This morning we woke up, we packed up, got on the road, and all is right in the kingdom. Don't have to rush these things other than you trying to get off early. Oh yeah, I'm trying to watch House of Dragons tonight, so I don't want to see any spoilers. Before He Cheats is one of the worst karaoke songs. Hi, Rusty. Welcome in. It was good. So, somewhat nice. If Friend's Dumb Husband was around. Oh no, this is Friend's Dumb Husband. That's one of them, and then the other one is Friend's Somewhat Nice Husband. Because the verdict is we're still half and half on him. He seems nice, but sometimes he also like seems kind of poopy. I wish I could just give you their names. They're kind of the same person, but he would not be the dumb husband. He's at least it's just, someday we'll talk about it more. The verdict's not out yet. He seems okay so far, but sometimes he'd be making fun of her too much. Hi, PSO Addict. Thank you for the check-in. Welcome in. But yeah, the beach day was perfect. The night out dancing was perfect. This morning was great. The drive wasn't too bad, and I haven't been home too long, but it's still been a good day. Like, I'm just happy. Everything was good, and I came back from the beach not sunburnt. A couple of us are sunburnt, but I was like chronically reapplying like I always do, but I ran out of the spray, so I had to use the rub-on exclusively. And the feeling of like sand mixed in with your sunscreen, it's horrible. I gotta figure something out, but all in all, it was the perfect day. Except for when we checked into the Airbnb. Checking into the Airbnb and seeing that it hadn't been cleaned really, really put a damper on my mood the first night, but we turned it around real quick when we started playing games, so. But I did apologize to them. Last night at dinner, I was like, I just want to say I'm sorry again for what happened. And they were like, it's not your fault. Like, how did you know they weren't going to clean? Da da da. But I still felt really bad. And then I was like, I'm grateful to be here. Grateful that we are having another beach trip. Like, this is, this is awesome. Glad we could do this. Glad we were in this position. And we all cheered and here. And it was nice. So, yep. I did tell the girls have decided though that next time we probably would just like keep it strictly to the girls so we could find an easier Airbnb. Or just cruise. And that is all the toasty on how the big beach trip went. Not saying you're wrong, those people, but if you've been long enough to be a husband, thought it'd be long enough to judge. Oh, yeah. Well, they're kind of newer to the group, I guess. They're new, but they're not new, I guess is how I should put it. But they're definitely, like, this is their first, big trip with us, whereas the other ones, I've gone on, like, multiple trips with them. I've gone on trips with the girl, but like a little beach trip. So she is coming on the girls' cruise this year. Fun fact. So that's pretty cool. Anyways, okay, now that I've rambled enough about this, your friend group sounds right out of a teen drama show like the OC or something. Yeah, I could see that. There's not like any crazy drama within the group, just drama that happens like I guess in individual lives, but I'm glad we at least get along. Let me go ahead and get the cottage opened up so we can talk about this book. As you know, we've been working our way through the deepest fake. It's about a guy who was I'm just gonna go over like a very, very quick summary because I know you guys probably get tired of hearing about this. But and the cheer from everyone. Oh, you're right. Yeah, the here. Let me switch screens. There we go. You never get tired of hearing my voice. You sweetie. Okay. So, it's about a guy named Daniel. Or no, named Daniel. Daniel Kalla is the name of the, the author. Let me make this post too. Toasty is reading The Deepest Fake by Daniel Kalla. Can you pin this message for me, Yerp? Okay. It's about a CEO of an AI company named Liam who gets diagnosed with ALS. He has a wife's cheating on him, kids are fine. He hires a PI and that's how he discovers his wife is cheating on him. Then he sees some, I'm not doing the new arms, this isn't, I just did this today. I didn't feel like doing the whole thing. There's some embezzling happening in his company. He doesn't know who it's coming from. He's having his VIPs investigated by the PI and he discovers one of them is hanging out with his old competitor who accused him of stealing. Then he finds out with his ALS diagnosis that it seems like his MRIs got mixed up. So he might not even have ALS. Or he probably doesn't have ALS. And they're trying to figure out like, okay, well, who tampered with my MRI? And can I get a second diagnosis? And what's actually wrong with me? So him and the PI are traveling to Canada to get all this done. And that's just a quick brief summary of it because I don't feel like going into all the individual VIPs and everything like that, or VPs, right? Also, he's starting to wonder if releasing his new AI app that allows people to take anyone's image and make like an AI version of them to talk to and everything like that, and they can generate their own dialogue. He's starting to wonder if that's really a good idea. So that's the other thing that's happening. So in the last chapter that we read, chapter 24, we found out, like I said, that his MRI has been manipulated or tampered with, mixed up. And so VIPs, her mind is still at the club. It is at the club, Rusty. All I want to do is dance. I love dancing so much. And I was getting it. Because I overate. I overate so bad. I had chips. I had a sandwich. I had a big, barbecue bowl while I was out, and then I had not to count on my liquid calories, which was making it worse. And I have this thing where whenever I travel with friends, I just cannot go, and we'll just say it like that. So oh god, it was bad. I was like, I have got to find a way to feel not so full. So I was like, dancing is it. Like, this will make me feel better. So I danced the night away. My feet do hurt today, but that's okay. I'm sorry, Bull. I felt so gross. I felt so nasty that I was like, what is one thing that's gonna make me feel better? And it was dancing. And the music was bumping. They played Mrs. Officer in the club, you know? Which I love. I don't know if I told you, I feel like I did. I dressed up as a cop last year for Halloween. So I love that song. Yeah. I can't believe dancing would help. I thought maybe all that motion would make it feel better. What made it feel better is coming home. Anyways. Yeah, okay, so the last chapter, they found out the MRI was tampered with, so they're going to Canada to get out of the system and hopefully get it redone and find out why the heck he's having the shakes and the numbness, you know? And then the second thing is to find out who's embezzling and also figure out who's messing with him right now, while also managing the release of this app. Okay, so we don't know if he's dying, and we know that him and Andrea have been getting closer, the PI. And, yeah. Oh, he also was gonna do the medical assisted suicide, but this has changed everything. Okay, let's get into it. As always, I'm gonna read 2 chapters, and we'll talk. I'll read 2 more chapters, and we'll talk, and 2 more chapters, and we'll talk. We're on chapter 25 out of 60. Do you think at this point it would be wrong to cheat on his wife with a PI? Yes. If he was gonna do that, he should have been telling his wife he wasn't gonna try to make it work, but he's been trying to make it work with her. So I do think it would be wrong at this point. I think his wife should cheat with the PI. Oh yeah? That'll show them. Okay, let's get into it. Here we go. Oh wait, let me turn on the rain. We'll just do the rain for now. No fire. Chapter 25. Sorry, let me try that again. Chapter 25. Liam lies inside the narrow MRI tube, the machine's clicks and whirs cutting through the noise-canceling headphones clamped over his ears. The last 24 hours have been a whirlwind. Just yesterday, he had been bracing for the end, convinced with Dr. Glenn's help he'd be gone in weeks. His mind had been fixed on tying up loose ends, handling the threat to his company, securing his family's future, and preserving his legacy. But Dr. Chow's call changed everything. Now, there's a real chance he won't have to put his family through that brutal conversation about ALS and assisted dying. 27 minutes into a 30-minute MRI, Liam dares to hope the scan will show he doesn't have ALS, that he might actually live. He should feel as overjoyed as Scrooge on Christmas morning, but he doesn't. The uncertainty gnaws at him. He still has no clue what's behind his worsening symptoms. The idea that someone might have tampered with his original MRI and other tests point to something far bigger, a conspiracy involving people with serious power, resources, and deadly intentions. The machine quiets, and a voice crackles through the headphones. "We're all done, Mr. Hirsch," the tech says. As Liam changes back into his clothes, he reflects on the steps he's taken to cover his tracks since discovering the bogus MRI. He bought burner phones and laptops for himself and Andrea, using public Wi-Fi and a coffee shop to research private MRI facilities in Vancouver, Canada, not the town in Washington. He needed a place that stored data locally, avoiding the cloud. After finding an MRI clinic that met his criteria, he repeated the process to find a private lab for his blood work with the same constraints. Despite the worsening numbness in his feet, Liam rose at 4:30 this morning, driving 2 hours north through pounding rain along I-5 to the US-Canada border. After crossing, he continued another 30 miles into downtown Vancouver to reach the MRI facility. Now, as he leaves the changing room, the balding technician hands him an old-fashioned disc in a clear plastic case. "These are your images, as requested, Mr. Hirsch." "Thanks," Liam says, wondering when he last saw, let alone held, a CD. "I was told the radiologist would review the images with me now." "Yes, absolutely. I'll take you to Dr. Von Saint's office." The tech leads Liam down a short hallway to a dimly lit room where a graying middle-aged man sits behind a desk, 2 large screens glowing on the wall. One is filled with 3-dimensional images of a human brain and spine, looking like something out of his son's favorite sci-fi series. "Welcome," Dr. Van Saint says, his friendly voice tinged with a South African accent. "Eager to see how the sausage is made?" "I suppose you could say that," Liam points to the screen. "Is that me?" "It is indeed, and you're quite photogenic." Liam forces a smile. He knows little about spinal anatomy, but 2 lower vertebrae in his back look slightly misshapen compared to the others. He points to the anomaly. "Are those my old fractures?" "Indeed." Dr. Van Saint clicks his mouse, zooming in on the bottom 4 vertebrae. These guys, L3 and L4, aren't as tall as the others. Indicates old compression fractures. They were crushed a bit. And that wider, thickening is scar tissue from new bone growth. And we see these fractures all the time in the elderly, but for someone with such strong bones, it must have been quite the injury. "A fall?" Liam nods. "My piton pulled out the rock face, and I dropped almost 20 feet onto my ass." The doctor laughs heartily. "Ah, a fellow climber, respect, but be careful with those pegs, they can be tricky." "Apparently," Liam nods to the screens. "Do the image show anything else?" "A few things, yes. To start with, your bones are strong. You've got the spine of a 30-year-old, which is impressive for a guy pushing 50. Liam doesn't care about that. "Anything else about the spine itself?" "You do have a small issue with some of your nerves." Liam's stomach drops at the mention of his nerves. "As in ALS?" "ALS?" Dr. Van Saint grimaces. No. You've got a couple of bulging discs at L4 and L5, and L5-S1, that are compressing the nerves." Liam exhales in relief. "Could that cause twitching and burning in my hands and feet?" Oh no, I don't think so. They're fairly minor, and the nerve roots don't appear inflamed. I see, but no evidence of ALS? You're sure? With ALS, we'd expect hyperintensity on T2 weighted imaging along the corticospinal tracts. Dr. Van St. stops himself, smiling wryly. Gibberish, huh? Easier if I show you. He clicks his mouse, and a grayish oval-shaped structure appears on the screen. Liam takes a moment to recognize it. Is that a cross-section of my spine? Your spinal cord, yes. Dr. Van St. zooms in. I'm moving up along your cervical spine, your neck, until we reach where the spinal cord transitions into the brainstem. He points to a discrete lighter gray area near the front. This is your corticospinal tract. In most ALS cases, this region would light up, but yours is completely normal. Does that rule out ALS? Dr. Van St. raises an eyebrow, clearly wondering why Liam is so fixated on the disease. Not with certainty, no. If you had changes, we could almost confirm ALS, but without them, we can't be 100% sure you don't have it. And there's nothing else in my MRI to explain my symptoms? The muscle twitches, the burning numbness in my hands and feet, the clumsiness? Honestly, no, but my job is to read the images, Mr. Hirsch. Smarter folks than me, like neurologists, interpret the results clinically. Okay, well, thank you, Dr. Van St., for your time and expertise. Anytime, he says with a sweep of his arm. Liam heads for the door, but just as he's about to close it, Dr. Van St. calls out, I'm not half bad at my job, Mr. Hirsch. I'd like to think that more than 9 times out of 10, I'd spot something if it were there. And your spinal cord is pristine. To me, this does not look like ALS. For Liam, that's evidence enough, which means someone went to extreme lengths to deceive him into believing he has the disease. Someone who knew him well enough to predict he wouldn't endure the indignity of a slow decline. It would instead opt for a quicker death through euthanasia. But who? How? And why? Liam thinks of Rudy and his smug references to karma. Could Rudy have decided to tip the cosmic scales? But he couldn't have masterminded something this elaborate on his own, not without access to a massive computing power. Even if Nellie was helping him, her expertise is in security and defense, not this. Liam knows he can't rule out the possibility of others in his company being involved. In Andrea's relatively brief investigation, she's already uncovered deceit among his senior team, any of whom might have a motive for wanting him out of the way. And then there's the technology. Altering his medical records would take serious computing power, something only a sophisticated government agency or advanced AI could pull off. What if AI was more involved than he thought? What if the algorithms running on Transcend servers had flagged him as a threat? People have been warning for years that self-learning AI could evolve into something more, artificial general intelligence, with the ability to act on its own. Could that be happening now? Snap out of it. It's ridiculous to think machines are targeting him on their own. He needs to focus on what matters most, figuring out what's really wrong with him. Chapter 26. Dr. Chow steps into the exam room. His white lab coat crisp over a neatly pressed shirt and a navy tie dotted with subtle polka dots. The picture of old-school professionalism. Good afternoon, Mr. Hirsch, he says with a nod, quietly closing the door behind him. Before Dr. Chow can say another word, Liam thrusts an envelope containing Dr. Van Saint's report into his hand. On the outside, scrawled in hurried writing, are the words, "Urgent. Please turn off all electronics, phone, tablet, computer, etc." Dr. Chow frowns at the note, his eyes flickering to Liam's, gauging the seriousness or sanity of his patient. Still, without a word, he reaches into his coat pocket, pulls out his phone, and powers it down. "Thank you," Liam says. "No computer?" "Not in the exam room, no." The irony isn't lost on Liam. He, a tech CEO and AI devotee, asking someone to unplug from electronics. But he has never had more reason to mistrust anything or anyone. Yet, he fully trusts Dr. Chow. If the neurologist hadn't caught the discrepancy in his original MRI, Liam would still be planning his own death right now. I'm sure this seems insane, Liam says, but there's a reason for all of this. Dr. Chow sits down on the nearby stool, the envelope still in his hand. Why don't you explain? Liam nods towards the envelope. That's my MRI report from Vancouver. You went to Canada? Dr. Chow's frown deepens as he pulls out the report, scanning it quickly. His eyes narrow in disbelief and he shakes his head. This is nothing like your original report. That's because the first one wasn't mine, Liam says. Someone swapped it to make it look like I had ALS. Dr. Chow looks up, his face skeptical. How do you know it wasn't just a clerical error? Have you ever seen an error like that? Where someone gets the wrong report, and it just happens to confirm the rare diagnosis their doctor suspects? A beat of silence. Then, no. It wasn't a mistake. It was deliberate, which tells me I probably don't have ALS. Chow's face tightens. It's not only the MRI, Mr. Hirsch, the biopsy, the EMG, the nerve conduction studies. They're all pointed at ALS. Together, they were irrefutable. They were all probably doctored too. Doctored? Dr. Chow adjusts his glasses, a tinge of incredulity in his voice. That doesn't happen. Not in my world. I know it sounds far-fetched, but I believe someone falsified all of my diagnostics to make it appear as if I had ALS. Really, Mr. Hirsch, this sounds like something out of a Mission Impossible movie. I work in AI, Dr. Chow. Trust me, it's possible. You're the CEO of Transcend, aren't you? Chow's face brightens for a moment. My son's doing his PhD in computer science at Stanford. His thesis is on AI language interpreters. Stanford? Impressive. They're leaders in AI research. Liam taps the MRI report, but this has nothing to do with academics. What exactly is this? A sophisticated corporate sabotage, either to get rid of me or to destroy Transcend. Possibly both. And you believe whoever's responsible accessed my records to do it? Dr. Chow's voice carries a note of skepticism. Is that why you had me switch off the electronics? I don't know if they hacked your records directly. It might have altered the results at the source. But you're the city's top expert, so they probably knew I'd come to you. Liam looks around the room. Hence the electronics blackout. Dr. Chow lets out a low chuckle, though his skepticism remains. This doesn't explain your physical symptoms, the classic signs of ALS. That's what I'm trying to figure out, Liam says, leaning forward. If someone wanted me to believe I had ALS, then the symptoms had to be induced somehow. Are you suggesting you were poisoned, Mr. Hirsch? His voice rises. With a neurotoxin? Are there any that would fit? This is also... He wavers before motioning to the examining table. Before I comment on any of this, I need to examine you again. Liam sits on the table. Dr. Chow runs him through a battery of physical tests, ones that have become all too familiar. But today, Liam performs worse than ever. He stumbles, loses his balance, and can't stand on tiptoes on either foot. The sharp and dull probes blur together in his numb fingertips. It's as disheartening as it is terrifying. Chow returns to the stool, a shadow of concern crossing his face. Your motor function has deteriorated, and there's been more muscle wasting, especially in your calves and shoulders. That would fit with ALS. He hesitates. But the decreased sensation in your palms and feet? That's new. It's more consistent with polyneuropathy than ALS. Poly what? Polyneuropathy. It means damage to the peripheral nerves, the ones that connect your spinal cord to your arms and legs. Think of them as the wiring that sends messages between your brain and your body. And that wouldn't show up on an MRI? Not on the type we took of your spine, no. If it's polyneuropathy, would that damage be permanent? Depends on the cause, but not necessarily, no. Could poisoning cause these findings? Chow strokes his chin. Potentially. some neurotoxins can mimic ALS. It's rare, but possible. Liam's pulse hammers in his ears. Which ones? Lead is the most common neurotoxin. But we already tested for that. Dr. Chow cuts himself off, his face lighting with a small grin. Oh, you think those lab tests were doctored too, don't you? I do. Are there any other toxins to consider? Yes. Mercury poisoning, although I would expect more neuropsychiatric findings like memory problems. Also, organophosphates. They're found in certain pesticides, or even manganese toxicity. Manganese? It's mostly seen in industrial workers, miners, welders who inhale the fumes, but you could also ingest it or absorb it through the skin. Liam's gut clenches. You're saying I could be breathing it, eating it, or touching it? Exactly. But we'd need specialized lab tests to confirm. I left samples with a private lab in Vancouver, Liam says. Blood, urine, hair, all of it. Oh, I see. They're waiting on my instructions. I was hoping you'd tell me which test to run. Dr. Chow reaches for a notepad, writes out a list of tests in impeccable script, and hands it to Liam. It's all medical jargon to Liam, but it still makes his heart pound. If I've been poisoned, would the damage be permanent? If you have, it would depend on the toxin, Mr. Hirsch, but it's likely you would recover at least some function. That is, provided, yes, you stop the ongoing exposure to the toxin. If only I knew how I was being exposed. But all Liam says as he rises from the exam table is, one more thing, Dr. Chow. Please don't document any of this in my file. I don't intend to record anything of our interaction today, he says, still looking slightly bewildered. Thank you for everything, Dr. Chow. What you noticed on my supposed MRI, it just might have saved my life. Dr. Chow nods, lost in his own thoughts. Liam digs another burner phone out of his pocket. This must all sound over the top, Dr. Chow. I get it. He holds out the device. But until I've learned more, can you please use this if you need to reach me, or vice versa? Dr. Chow reluctantly accepts the phone, his face clouded with worry. Despite the mix-up with the MRIs, I still find it very hard to believe that this is a case of intentional poisoning. But if it is, am I, or my staff, in any kind of danger? No, Liam says with a reassuring smile. At least I hope not. Suspicious. All right, let's take a guess, guys. Do we think Dr. Chow is involved in this in any way? Hey, Andrew, welcome in. Bet he still paid with his card though. I don't know. Maybe he's going cashola. Andrew, thank you for the check-in. Rusty, thank you for the check-in. God bless Toasty for attempting these hard smart people words. There's a lot. It's those damn smoothies. Bull, literally, that's what I was thinking. I literally thought, oh my gosh, it's obviously those nasty smoothies. Yerp says yes. Bull says no. I'm gonna say no. I don't think Dr. Chow's involved. Because why would he point out that, hey, like I looked at your MRI again? So I'm gonna say no. I don't think he's involved. I don't know, something is up. Here's what I think though. Here's my guess. I think the wife's in on it. I'm convinced. I think it's the wife and somebody that he works with, for sure. I just don't think she's innocent in this, you know? I just feel like, I don't know, even though they're trying to make it up and everything, I do think, I don't know. I don't actually think it's a smoothies that mean either his wife is involved or she's getting poisoned as well. I don't think she is. I don't think she's getting poisoned, but I do think she has a hand in this. I think she's exposing him to the thing little by little. I don't know. I don't think it can have anything to do with the repairs they've been getting done. I don't think that is causing the poisoning, although it would line up with the things that he listed, you know? Hey, Bea, welcome in. Yeah, my guess is it's the wife and someone he works with, but I'm not entirely convinced of who it could be. And that is the T. Was I right? Was it poison? We don't know yet. That's what they think. That's what he thinks it is, but nothing is really out yet. He's what do you call it? He just spoke to Dr. Chow about, I don't think the PI's involved. He just spoke to Dr. Chow about what's going on with his MRI, and he got his second MRI done in Vancouver, and they were like, yeah, no, this doesn't look like ALS. So, but he does think, Dr. Chow thinks it could be some sort of chemical or whatever that he's ingesting, like mercury, lead, manganese, something like that, manganese, I don't know. Like, he threw out a few different types that it could be. And that is the D. I still don't know where this book is going. There's 60 chapters, and we're only on chapter 7, so we still have a lot. Those heavy metals take a long time for it to work. That's why I think his wife is involved. They said he could be inhaling it, touching it, or ingesting it. So, like, he doesn't know where it's coming from or how. No, chapter 27. Chapter 27. We just read 25 and 26. We're on chapter 27 out of 60, guys. 60. Crazy. I'm telling you, it's the wife. I think the kids are innocent. I don't think they have any sort of involvement in this. So I'm doubling down. Wife and one of the co-workers, or one of the VPs, but I don't know which one. Maybe Ramona. I don't think it is heavy metals. That's very premeditated. I do think this is premeditated. He also has a slight suspicion that it could be AI. Or I think there is no conspiracy. There's no poisoning. He's just going crazy. What? No, that's a little much. I don't think that's it. He did say that he was possibly worried. Does anybody think that it could be the AI becoming self-sufficient? Do we think it could be the AI? Is there any part of us that can... I don't think it's the AI. I don't know. I reckon he's just an alcoholic. That's why he keeps falling over. Perhaps. I don't fall when I get drunk. Not that I'm an alcoholic, but... It takes a very long time to see any effects, maybe years. That's how they poisoned royalty a long time ago, without being sus. Well, we don't quite know what it is yet, so... But I guess we'll find out. Let me go ahead and reset this timer. Oops. This time we'll swap for fire! You have a low center of balance toast, so that's cheating. Oh my gosh. Speaking of which, I do have a big bruise on my leg, and I don't know where it came from. I've been thinking maybe it was when I was putting my cooler up in and out of the Jeep, but it hurts. I think he could be right, or he may be AI. Maybe. He's an AI himself. Alright, here we go, guys. 2 more to go. Well, it's 4 chapters, and then we have 2. Probably when you hit your leg on something. I don't remember hitting my leg, though. I think Friendo used the AI. The AI? Perhaps. Alright, here we go. Chapter 27. Andrea hasn't been back to her dad's townhouse since she cleared out his personal belongings. Despite the empty drawers, the office looks the same. She already transferred the note her dad had left her on his computer to a thumb drive. But sitting in the chair where he wrote it, she's tempted to open it again and finish reading. Her hands freeze on the keyboard. The first paragraph was hard enough to get through. Her father's words, overflowing with love, telling her she was more than he deserved, crushed her. But it was the second paragraph, which began, "There are things you need to understand, starting with your mother," that made her shut the computer down. What could there be to understand about a woman who walked out on her 7-year-old daughter? 2 counselors Andrea had seen as an adult, including the one after Max's betrayal, had both zeroed in on what they labeled as her abandonment issues. One even brought up something called a mother wound, which hit a little too close. But boiling her entire personality down to one childhood trauma felt too simplistic. Even if her mom had stayed, Andrea is convinced she would still value loyalty above everything else. It's just who she is. Besides, who doesn't fear being abandoned? A knock on the door breaks her thoughts. She's relieved for the excuse to get up from the computer to answer it. Liam stands there, clad in his usual activewear. This time, a green jacket with black pants. Lululemon, probably. He still looks gaunt, but there's something different about him today. Is it an air of hope? Or maybe just the absence of the despair that shadowed their previous encounters? Either way, he seems more alive. In the living room, Andrea sinks into her dad's overstuffed chair while Liam gingerly lowers himself onto the couch across from her. "Thanks for meeting me here," he says. "Starbucks not safe anymore?" "I don't trust public spaces." "Why not?" "The effort it took to make me think I had ALS was too elaborate for them to just be messing with medical tests. They're probably tracking me, watching where I go, who I meet." "You think they know about me?" "Maybe. That's why I left my phone in the car 2 miles away and grabbed a cab here." "And why you insisted I bring only my burner phone with me?" He nods. "Until we figure out who's behind this, I have to live a double life. Pretend all is normal while watching every word I say and everything I touch, eat, or even breathe." "You still don't think we have enough to go to the police?" "Not yet. I've got nothing but a single mislabeled MRI. That could be chalked up to a mistake. If I go public with this now, Transcend's stock will tank, far worse than it already has." "Isn't your life more important?" "That's debatable," he jokes. "But honestly, Andrea, we're in a better position to figure this out than the cops. Especially if the people behind it think we're still in the dark." Andrea isn't convinced. And who are they exactly? Rudy and Nellie? Or maybe someone we haven't even thought of yet? "I'm not making much progress on my end," she admits. "I spent half of yesterday staked outside Rudy's place. He never left his condo. And Nellie's like a ghost online." "You connected them to each other. That's huge." "We'll see," she sighs. "I did find something on one of the other execs. Could be nothing, though." "Who?" "Ramona Bale? Well, actually her wife, Jennifer Chu." "You know her?" Liam shrugs. "Not too well. She's pretty shy, hard to get to know." "Well, she used to be part of a hardcore climate activist group. Part of a group called Earth First." "Used to be?" "The group disbanded after they were linked to a cyber attack on an oil company. It was a sophisticated hack, too. They corrupted files and leaked some very embarrassing information." Liam sits up straighter. "And Jennifer was involved?" "No proof, but she's got the IT skills, and she used to work for a pharmaceutical company." "Christ! So she knows her way around confidential records and drugs?" "Exactly. And meanwhile, her wife might be defrauding the company." "Might is the key word, but I'll keep an eye on both of them." Liam groans. "I wish our suspect list was getting shorter, not longer." "It will," Andrea says without much conviction. Liam's eyes roam the room. "Did your dad live here long?" "Almost 20 years. He always wanted to live in the city. Sold the house in the burbs basically the second I left for college." "You two were very close, huh?" "Very. I'm an only child, and he was my only parent." "When did your mom leave?" "Just after my 7th birthday." "I'm sorry." "It's okay. I barely remember her. Besides, I had a great childhood. My dad made sure of that." She surprises herself with how easily she's sharing things that she normally keeps locked up. "My dad stuck around, but he wasn't really there," Liam says. "Always too busy scheming and dreaming, as my mom used to say." "Not my dad. I could always count on him, at least until the end." "Hope I'm half as good a dad to my kids as yours was to you." Her voice wavers. "Tell me about them." "They're twins, 15. Total opposites. Ava's carefree, never a worry. Cole's obsessed with soccer and sometimes acts like the world's sitting on his shoulders." "Are they close?" "They can drive each other nuts, but yeah, they've got each other's backs." "Which one's more like you?" "Definitely Cole." "Then he'll be fine." Liam lets out a bitter laugh. Not sure if that's a blessing or a curse. "We both know the answer to that," she says. Liam clears his throat. "I don't want to cross a line, Andrea, but it sounds like you're still wrestling with your dad's suicide?" He nods. "He was in constant pain, Liam, trapped in that wheelchair, and it just kept getting worse. By the end, His quality of life was gone, her voice cracks. But he had me, and he never said a word. Not even the night before when we had dinner here together. The memory claws at her. How he devoured every bite, how he kept telling old stories, filling the room with laughter. When he hugged her goodbye, holding on just a little longer than usual, he seemed so content. She was relieved, thinking he was finally himself again. It never crossed her mind that it was to be his last supper. But the peace that meal gave him left her with none after she learned he was gone. He was protecting you, Liam says softly. From what? From the guilt. If you didn't know what he was planning, you couldn't blame yourself later for not stopping him. He didn't want that on you. Didn't I deserve the chance to at least try? Do you think you could have changed his mind? No, probably not. But I could have said goodbye, properly. I get that, and I can't imagine how selfish it feels. But before I found out I didn't have ALS, there wasn't a thing my family could have said or done to stop me. Imagine if you'd gone through with it, she murmurs, when you weren't even dying. I might not be dying of ALS, but Liam's expression sharpens. If we don't figure this out soon, I'll still end up in the ground. Chapter 28. Liam sits at the kitchen counter, skimming through work emails on his laptop, trying to maintain focus. Whenever he uses his computer or his old phone, he forces himself to stay in character, pretending he still believes he has ALS. Keeping up the act is crucial if he has any hope of saving his company, or himself. He opens an email from Dr. Glynn. Her tone is warm, but the underlying concern is clear, a subtle echo of their last session. He can't let her suspect that he's not planning to go through with Maid, or that hopefully he won't need to. After a few failed drafts, he finally settles on, I'm coping all right, all things considered. I've reflected on your advice, but I'd still like to receive the medication at the end of the 7-day waiting period. I haven't decided on the timing yet, but I will keep you updated. He pulls out his burner phone, checking for any updates from Andrea or the lab in Vancouver. Nothing. He tucks it away just as Ava strolls into the kitchen, still in her school uniform. Is Kalla at practice? She asks, rummaging through the fridge. Good morning, sunshine, Liam says, closing the laptop. Morning, she replies, rolling her eyes. So, Cole? Practice? Yep, dropped him off. Her face lights up. Then I get a ride too? He points at himself, mock serious. This bus only runs once a morning. Ava groans. Of course, preferential treatment for the chosen one, aka the golden boy. As if my favorite depends on who's less snarky at any given moment. She smirks. Nice try. Not worried though. Dads always pick their daughters in the end. The nice ones, maybe. Whatever. She grabs a jug of orange juice and out of nowhere asks, Hey, what's Transcend's got to do with that Senate race in New England? Liam tenses. He'd never known Ava to pay attention to national politics. Where did you hear that? It's all over TikTok. Some senator with a USB stick, sweating like crazy. It's totally sus. Gross politician vibes. It wasn't real, Ava, Liam says, his heart sinking as he realizes the deepfake has already morphed into memes and become part of pop culture. Somebody made it using his story, right? Yeah, we're still trying to figure out who. Ava shrugs, losing interest. What time are we climbing Saturday? Liam's stomach drops, the burning in his hands and feet flaring as if in response. I tweaked my back. I can't climb, but I'll still take you. I'm not climbing without you. How about breakfast instead? Deal. As she closes the fridge door, she glances back at him. Mom left one of those gross anti-aging smoothies for you. Want it? No thanks. Coffee's enough this morning. Liam now only eats or drinks what he can trace from purchase to plate. The thought crosses his mind that the smoothies might be the source of the poison, implicating Celeste. But he quickly dismisses it. Even if he believed her to be capable of poisoning him, which he doesn't, how could she pull off something this elaborate, faking the records, the diagnosis, everything? No way. Your loss. Ava fills a bottle with juice and tucks it into her knapsack. Guess I'll take this to go since my ride bailed. Liam watches her saunter off, chuckling to himself. Love you, he calls out, but she's already out the door. Alone again, he pulls out the burner phone. Still no messages. He turns back to his work laptop, skimming through the flood of emails, but his mind drifts. Just days ago, he'd accepted his death. Now, all he wants is to fight for his life. The possibility of a second chance to watch his kids grow up fills him with a renewed sense of urgency. But the symptoms are still there, relentless. Earlier, he nearly fell in the shower. If he hadn't caught himself, he would have smashed his head on the tiles. Next time, he won't be so lucky. Focus, he tells himself, running through a mindfulness exercise to calm himself. He cycles through his senses. The white cabinets in his view, the hum of the fridge, the lingering scent of coffee, the minty taste of toothpaste, the tingling numbness in his hands. Damn it. His thoughts drift back to the plot against him. Whoever's behind it had to have known that once diagnosed with ALS, he would opt for MAID sooner rather than later. But how could they have been so sure of his response? And then it hits him, the Napa retreat last summer. The memory surges back. A private dinner at a winery transcends execs and their spouses celebrating a record year of sales. They were toasting when Ellis's wife, Nina, brought up her 85-year-old grandmother, who'd had a serious stroke and now lived in a nursing home near them. Love the old gal to bits, Ellis said, cheeks flushed from wine. But she can't talk, walk, or use her right arm. That's no life. I'd choose a bullet over that kind of existence any day. Nina turned to the others almost apologetically. Grandma still has quality of life. She listens to music and audiobooks. And she loves when the kids visit. Ramona's wife, Jennifer, chimed in. But at least she has options. We're lucky to live in a state with death with dignity laws, where she could choose to end her life after such a devastating stroke. Not everyone's so fortunate. Nina grimaced. Grandma doesn't want that. Full respect for your grandmother's positivity, Liam said, feeling uncharacteristically disinhibited by a rare third glass of wine. But if I were in her condition, I wouldn't even have to think about it. I couldn't end my life soon enough. Even if your brain was still sharp? Nellie asked. Especially then, losing my body while my mind's intact? No, thank you. I'd opt for quick medical death in a heartbeat. It's true, Celeste laughed. Life wouldn't be worth living for Liam if he couldn't climb any more mountains. Liam winces at the memory. Jesus, they all know exactly how I'd feel about MAID. Don't they? I'm telling you guys, Celeste is doing this with the smoothies, and she knew he would opt to pull the plug. What are we saying? Who's friendo? When she fell over. The old partner or co-inventor? Max is his best friend, isn't it? Or is it Steve? Well, he has his best friend, who's the CEO, or the COO, or something like that. He's the number 2. And then there's Rudy, the guy who he used to work with. Ramona is the accounting lady. Nellie is the cybersecurity person. Ellis is like in charge of like garnering, like getting new business and stuff, like new opportunities for revenue. Too obvious. Hi, Billy. So it's the wife. You think so? Thank you for the check-in, Billy. Hey, glad I got my stream checked, but this topic is a little heavy for me. I'll check in later. No worries, Billy. We'll see you next time. Do what you gotta do. And thank you for checking in. I hope you have a great day and a great rest of your week if I don't see you again, but I sure hope I do. Let's see. But yeah, I do think, I think it could be Celeste. I feel like it would be too obvious for it to be Ramona and her wife. You know? For sure. The comment saying there's no way the wife could do it is obviously trying to go deflect from her. Yeah, like I don't know. I'm thinking the wife and I'm trying to think of like, I just don't think it's Ramona and Jennifer. That seems too obvious to be them, you know? Like Jennifer, the IT lady who used to work with pharmaceuticals, like I don't know. like on a meta level of how I'd write the story. Perhaps. Oh. Welcome in, not a professor nap. Nap braid, nap braid, nap braid, nap braid. I don't know why I read it like that. Welcome in. Someone coated the rock climbing walls in poison. I don't think that. You think it's the daughter. It's not the daughter. Welcome in, Professor. How are you? Let me give you... Oh, you did shout him out? I'll give one more. Shout out to not a professor. Wait, hold on. It can't be the daughter. It's on cooldown. Oh, is it? It won't let me do it again? Do I get like super cool rights because I'm a... There we go. Oh, let's say, do I get extended rights because I'm a lady? Okay, welcome in, Professor Nap. How are you? What did you do today? Thank you so much for bringing your community and yourself here. I'm so happy to see you here again. Guys, if you don't know who this is, Nap is a streamer who loves history, and they go over... They pretty much do historical research in their channel. Like I've seen them look at old artifacts and like old pictures and compare them to what's going on. I am like dumbing this down so in such a simple way, but I don't want to be like I don't want to speak on something that I don't know about. But they do museum artifact reviewing. You're actually doing a museum review, see? I went to the Philadelphia Art Museum this weekend and was sharing what I saw. That is very cool. It is very, very cool. They do something completely different. I do remember they went through like a family tree history, like looking where someone was buried and how they ended up where they were. Basically, Nap goes over a bunch of topics that I'm probably never ever going to talk about in my lifetime. So please, please, please check Nap out. If that sounds like your thing. Let me go peek. You haven't gone to the Philly? I don't think I've ever been to a Philly art museum. Looks like they also played some Stardew Valley and did some Lego and brick building. So if that sounds like your thing, also give them a watch. That's pretty cool. Thank you so much. No, thank you for bringing your community here. I'm so happy to see you. For those of you who are new here, I almost forgot to do my intro. My name is Honey Toasty, aka Toasty. I am a variety streamer here on Twitch. I only stream 2 times a week though. Occasionally 3, but mostly it's 1 to 2. But I've been really good about 2. Anyways, on Sundays I always do a reading stream. I have been doing romance books, but this time we're reading The Deepest Fake, which is kind of a psychological thriller about a CEO who does a lot of AI development. He got diagnosed with ALS, but then it turns out it looks like someone is poisoning him and they faked all his results. He's been working with a PI who caught his wife cheating. There's some embezzlement happening in his company and he's trying to figure out who the heck is messing with him. Why was there embezzlement in the company and why did no one catch it? And yeah, that's where we're at. And also kind of going through with releasing this AI app that he made about... Like, he has one where you can take historical figures or like dead actors and stuff and reanimate them, but he's coming out with a new app called Their Story where you can take anyone who's dead or alive and it will come up with its own things to say. Like, it's not just regurgitating past info, it's generating new responses. Sounds very simple and easy to follow. It's all over the place, but it's really interesting. And yeah, I'm not really sure where it's going. But if that sounds like your thing, please stick around and hang out. If not, I totally get it. I get if you have to raid and run Nap, or if you just, you know, feel like unplugging for the night. Totally understand. I'm just so happy you're here. What else can I say? I don't want to leave anything out about this book. I usually read 2 chapters at a time, and then we'll stop and talk. 2 more, stop and talk, and 2 more, and we'll stop and talk. We are entering the last 2 of the night. We just finished with him talking to the doctor, talking to the PI, about like what the new update is. He got another MRI done and he does indeed not have ALS, or at least that's what it looks like, but they're not sure what's causing all the issues that he's having. So they're like, maybe it's poisoning, maybe it's not. And he's kind of going over who the different people, the different suspects could be. The last thing that you need to know, and kind of a warning, is they do talk about suicide and medical assistance in dying. So if that is a heavy topic for you, if anything here is too heavy and you gotta go, no hard feelings. I totally understand. You'll be lurking for a little bit, but I hope you have a great rest of your stream. Thank you, Nap. I hope you enjoy your lurk, and I'm so grateful that you brought your community here again. All right, let's go ahead and dive into these last two chapters, guys. And then I'm gonna wrap up and go watch House of Dragons. Because I've been doing really good at not seeing spoilers. Here we go. Sam. The guy's name is Sam, guys. Anyways. Chapter 29. Sam barges into Liam's office without knocking. His stride falters when he sees Liam's hands. What the hell are those? He points at Liam's gloved fingers. Liam lifts one hand from the keyboard, flexing the thin, white nylon material covering his fingers. Doctor's orders. Allergies, apparently. Something about contact dermatitis. It's the same line he fed his executive assistant, Morris. The real reason is his fear of potentially absorbing toxins if they happen to be coating his keyboard or lingering on other surfaces. Sam pulls a face. Not exactly the epitome of manliness. Liam eyes Sam's half-moon glasses. As opposed to those? Touché, Sam chuckles but then shivers slightly. Why the hell is it freezing in here? Liam gestures to the open windows. Airing out the room. Same reason. Allergies, sabbaticals, and now lady gloves? Sam groans as he drops into the chair across from Liam. Who are you? It's like you've been body snatched. Liam forces a smile, though the lie eats at him. He can't trust anyone right now, not even Sam. Not until he and Andrea untangle the full conspiracy. And even if he wanted to confide in his old friend, his office isn't the place to do it. Are you here to just mock me? Mostly, Sam smirks, but I've got a couple of updates too. Like who made that deepfake in New Hampshire and then leaked word of their story's release? Sam shakes his head, frustration creasing his brow. Not yet. Still digging. What about Nellie? Anything? Her files are squeaky clean. No surprise, right? If anyone could cover their tracks, it's our head of cybersecurity. Liam grunts. No doubt. Sam leans forward, a gleam in his eye. But my old school sleuthing might have turned up something. Liam perks up. Go on. Nellie's assistant, Dion, usually useless as a screen door on a submarine, noticed something odd. Nellie's been scheduling gaps in her calendar lately. Gaps? Yeah, off-site personal stuff. Totally out of character for her. She's all work all the time. Dion thinks it could be health-related. You don't? She looks healthy as a horse to me, or a miniature pony anyway. Sam clicks his tongue again. Maybe she's out interviewing with competitors or meeting with reporters. Or maybe she's busy conspiring with Rudy. This whole thing's insane, Prez. I'm spying on our head of security to see if she's responsible for the exact kind of breach she's paid to prevent. Sam shoots Liam a hard look. We both know Nellie sees their story as some kind of doomsday app. Why keep her around if she's philosophically against the project? Why not just cut her loose now? I'm not ready to make that call yet. Even if she's involved, firing her won't fix anything. She already knows too much. Our best play is to contain her. Contain her? Sam raises an eyebrow. You're not talking mafia-level containment, are you? Funny. No. I mean, it's best to keep your enemies close. Though Liam has a sinking feeling his enemies might already be too close. Sam throws up his hands. Well, guess it's decided then. For now. Sam rubs his temples. At least there's one bright spot. What's that? Our books are balanced. Even last quarter's irregularities? Yep. Then how do you explain 2 unauthorized payments to EANC Consulting? Over $100,000. They weren't unauthorized. I didn't authorize them. Ramona did. Her signature's on the form. Liam stiffens. What the hell is EANC Consulting? And why didn't Ramona mention those payments when I asked her about the irregularity? No wonder I don't trust anyone here. Sam shrugs like it's no big deal. No clue what EANC is, but it doesn't matter, boss. How could that possibly not matter? Because we got paid back. What? In the current budget, we've got a surplus for the exact same amount, to the penny. Check the next quarterly report. Everything's balanced. No harm, no foul. Liam's mind spins. So you're telling me EANC Consulting refunded us the full amount? Either that or the whole thing was misfiled in the first place. Does that make any sense to you? Sam waves it off. Bottom line is no one's stealing from us, boss. Liam finds little comfort in that. The whole thing reeks. Who runs an illicit charge through the books only to repay it in the next period? And why would Ramona cover it up? Sam points at Liam's hands again. Listen, between these Michael Jackson gloves and your whole vibe lately, you've got to admit you haven't been yourself. The urge to unload on Sam, to tell him everything, is almost overpowering. The diagnosis, the affair, the crushing weight of it all. But he's determined to stick to the plan with he and Andrea laid out. It's been a lot, dealing with the books, the leaks, the launch pushback. I just need a break. We're all feeling the pressure, boss, especially since we've got even more riding on their story than we did on his story. Sam studies Liam's face. But something's off with you. What aren't you telling me? Liam only shrugs. Sam gets halfway out of his chair, then flops back down. There's something else I've got to get off my chest. Go on. This sudden world tour with your family, I think it's a shit idea. I hope you know that. I had an inkling, yeah. But fine, your life, your call. Liam waits, knowing Sam isn't done. But this whole apprentice-style CEO audition, what the hell, man? I've been with you since day one. I helped you build this company from scratch. Why wouldn't you just name me from the get-go? Liam sighs. You know I have to get the board's approval. Sam snorts. You could pick up Kim Jong-un, and the board would rubber stamp him. We both know your word's law around here. Since Liam no longer plans to step down, there's no point letting Sam stew in uncertainty or doubt. When the time comes, the job will be yours, Sam, but I want it to look legitimate. We've got to do our due diligence, or people will talk. Sam cracks a grin. I can live with that. But can I? Liam wonders as his foot twitches, the numbness creeping up his leg. Chapter 30. Andrea sits in her car, parked outside the charming old Victorian, on a quiet, tree-lined street in Seattle's historic Queen Anne neighborhood. Envy gnawing at her. This area, with its lush greenery, water views, and quaint cafes, has always been her favorite. The heritage homes, with their colorful facades, conical towers, and intricate spindles, remind her of San Francisco's painted ladies. What hurts most is how close she came to living in her dream home only a few blocks away. Max, with his architect's eye and love for Victorian-era houses, had put down an offer on a 120-year-old gem without even consulting her. She remembers the day so vividly. They drove across town in a downpour, and Max slowed in front of a blue, turreted house on a sloping street. Under their shared umbrella, he nodded toward the house and grinned. I could live here if I had to. You? What do you think? She squeezed his arm tighter. How many times have we fantasized about a place exactly like this? True, Max said with a casual shrug, but this time, we actually own it. Andrea laughed, pushing him playfully. Yeah, right. Well, almost. We won't remove the subjects on the offer for another 2 weeks. Not until after the inspection. Stop teasing, Max. Who's teasing, babe? She could hardly believe it. How can we afford this? My parents are helping with the down payment. Her heart jumped. No. They're lending us the difference. We can't accept that, Max. Can we? She asked, though her heart was already set on the house, imagining how their furniture would look on the vintage hardwood floors. Too late. His grin widened. I already did. Are you serious? She cried. I couldn't let it slip away, babe. This was meant to be our home. Max let the umbrella fall as he hugged her, spinning her in circles. As rain pelted her face and wind whipped her hair, Andrea wondered if she'd ever been happier. She was about to move into her dream house with the man she'd fallen for on their first date. Her doubts about his trustworthiness melted away, and she couldn't wait to start a family with him in their new home. But she never did. The dream crumbled only 9 days later. After rushing her dad home early from a family reunion in Tampa, thanks to his swollen feet and shortness of breath, she found Max in bed with another woman. Not just any woman, his colleague, Tanya, his so-called work wife. Even in that soul-crushing moment, the irony wasn't lost on Andrea. Her life's work was catching cheaters, yet she caught her own partner in the act without even trying. Andrea pushes the painful memory aside. It's not just the loss of her dream home that stings. It's also the dead ends piling up in her investigation. She's been staking out Ramona's place for hours with nothing to show for it. Yesterday was no better, an entire day spent outside Ziegler's condo without a single sighting. Long hours and disappointment comes with the job, but this case feels different, more pressing, far more urgent. Liam's time is running out, and it feels as if hers is too. She saw it at their last meeting, the way he struggled just to get up from her dad's old couch. His condition is deteriorating. She urged him to leave, to flee the country and escape the toxic exposure they suspect is slowly killing him. But Liam refused. He's convinced the only way to protect his family and save himself is by exposing whoever's behind it. But how much time does he have before the damage becomes incapacitating or irreversible? Andrea opens her laptop and reviews her notes. The list of suspects isn't getting shorter. If anything, it's growing, especially with EANC Consulting added to the mix. She's had no luck identifying the principals behind the offshore company, which is registered in the British Virgin Islands. The owners are hidden behind a web of privacy laws designed to attract those who prize anonymity. Studying the list again, she notices that the first 2 letters of the company's name match Ellis's initials. Out of curiosity, she Googles his name along with EANC, but the results aren't relevant. On a whim, she tries his wife's name, Nina, and discovers that she used her maiden name, Cheston, during her modeling days. Andrea's pulse quickens. What are the odds that the company's initials match all 4 of theirs? She racks her brain, trying to recall a formula from a long-ago statistics course. The numbers don't matter. It's too much to be coincidence. She digs deeper, searching for Nina Cheston and EANC, but nothing relevant comes up. Then she tries Nina Asher and EANC. Again, nothing. Finally, she drops the surname and simply searches for Nina's first name. Bingo. Among the search results, she finds a registration page for a Little League baseball team in Bellevue, where the Ashers live. On the contact page, in bright, playful font, is a note. If your little slugger is interested in playing, drop Nina a line at eanc1989@gmx.com. Suspicious. The plot thickens. Could it be Nina and Ellis are behind this? And why might you ask? Because Ellis is a gambler. He has a gambling addiction. Maybe she was getting desperado. Dang it. As I was reading EANC, before I read the rest of it, I thought it was Ellis. I don't know who the A would be, Nellie and Celeste. But I couldn't think of the A, but his daughter's name is Ava. So what if it's the daughter? Ellis, Ava, Nellie, and Celeste. I'm just kidding. I could see it being Nina, and comes back from chores. I disagree. This doesn't mean anything. You think it's nothing? It could be. It could be nothing. Or it could be everything. It's also suspicioso, right? Despacito. Anybody can know their old names. That's true. I think the last few chapters have just been throwing out distraction. This seems like a setup. He only told the PI about the issue with the books, and then the PI is the only one who knows about the tampered MRI. Well, that and Dr. Chow. Other than that, he really hasn't told anyone. We aren't even halfway. It's a red herring. That's the only thing I'm not enjoying about this book, is it's like sing, 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 like all over the place with who it could be, you know? I need some normality, you know? But that is our 6 chapters for the day, y'all. Isn't it crazy? I still don't know. You know, I am thinking this might be AI. You think the AI pieced that together? Your top suspect is the AI. Okay. I mean, it does kind of enhance the sense of paranoia. That's true. I guess it's nice because if it was really obvious, this wouldn't be as enjoyable. Like, it is kind of nice to read a book and have zero idea where it's going. Like, in fact, there still could be a chance that the main guy dies, you know? If it is the AI, it's going to be a disappointing ending. I would rather it was humans. I don't want it to be AI. I want it to be human betrayal. I don't know. I just think it would be funny to see. Not funny, but I think it's really interesting to think that humans really that humans rally together to make this happen. I think that's what an interesting thought, that they really coordinated this, you know? There's so many moving parts with faking the MRI, faking the blood test results, also ensuring he gets the symptoms. A human directed or gave directives for the AI to do it. That's true, unless it's becoming sentient. If it ends with him just having ALS and dying, and there was no conspiracy, how would you feel on that? Mighty disappointed. I'd be disappointed if that was the ending. They better not turn back and be like, actually, sir, you do have ALS. That would not be satisfying at all. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. I think someone is trying to make it look like it's the AI. I still think the wife is involved. I think with the way the poisoning would have to happen over and over and like lead to it, I just feel like she's involved somehow. So I'm doubling down on Celeste. Ellis, the gambling addict, I just don't think it's him, because that seems really obvious to me. I also don't think it's Nellie. It just doesn't seem right. So I'm going to say Celeste is working maybe partially with Rudy, right? His enemy. Because why would Rudy say the thing about karma, you know? So maybe Rudy and Celeste are involved. Sam? I don't know. I don't know if I think it's Sam. I don't know. Let me just say I really do think Celeste is involved. So she's hardly been in the book, so I don't think it's her. But why would they say, like, oh, I don't think she's capable? Like, why throw that out there? Why even say that, you know? Technically, he should think everybody around him is not capable of such evil. She's got like a couple weeks. She wouldn't give a F. That's true. But maybe she admitted the cheating to throw him off the scent. I don't know. I don't really know. It's always the 2 closest people. If I had the access of a super AI planning, this kind of murder would be easy. I can just change the formula of your shampoo directly at the factory and ship it to you, poison you slowly. Wow, that is... that's really dark, but I suppose you're not wrong. My top suspect is Celeste, for sure. I'm doubling down on it. I don't know how, but she's involved. I do still think Andrea and Liam are going to end up together. Why would it bring up the lesbian couple who have all the skills to do it, or the gambler? Because they gotta. Okay, it's Celeste, Rudy, Ramona, and her wife. That's where I'm leaning right now. So yeah. Ramona's wife, Jennifer, has the ability to fake records and or to give directives to Rudy, who can work with the AI to fake the medical records. She also has the drug knowledge to give to Celeste. Ramona has the embezzling knowledge, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of Ellis, but I don't know. We still got half a book to go. True, gotta fill up the middle with red herrings, perhaps. The only one I don't really feel like it is, I don't think it's Nellie. What about the money? It just returns right after it was discussed. Yeah, like, isn't that so weird? It for sure. Who did he tell about the missing money? He told all of his VPs about it. So, and Celeste was a coder, true. That's two. So those are red herrings, but the oh no way it could be my wife is proof it's her. It is. Well, we are officially halfway through the book. Next week we'll start chapter 31. We just finished chapter 30 out of 60. So yeah, he told all the VPs. He got them in a room together and was like, we need to investigate this. Da 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 da. So it's Ellis, Sam, Ramona, Nellie. Ellis, Sam, Ramona, Nellie. That's it. I mean, if anything, I admire your stubbornness on it. Thanks. I'm stubborn just like Liam. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this lovely Sunday night. I hope you enjoyed our reading stream, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, a wonderful rest of your night, if I don't see you again, but I sure hope I do. The next time I will see you guys is on Wednesday, the 15th, for an evening stream, and I really hope you guys are here. I don't really have any announcements other than that. Like, that's all that's going on. I am in the process of, looking at some emotes just to revamp them again. I wish I could just get more, but it sucks that, like, if I want any more, I have to, like, swap them out. And I'm so attached to all my emotes, I feel like. That was before he knew he might be bugged, or was it after? No more blacked out pics. I do have some more. If you guys want to know what he's talking about, I'll show you them super duper quick. I did somewhat of a reveal last week. Is it this one? Yeah, there's one. And two. That's me. Bam, bam. I took more pictures this past weekend, so I guess I could show you guys. But yep, that is a general idea of what I look like. And I might have more. Because like I said, I did take pictures. I did do a shadow picture with my friends too, so I could always show that. Oh, you were joking? Oh, well, I talked about it so briefly at the last stream. I don't think I'll be bringing it up anymore, so if you didn't see it last time or just now, that's it. Those pictures are gone. The silhouette of a piece of toast. I'll take a picture of a loaf of bread. Okay, I will see you guys here Wednesday. I'm gonna hop off and go get comfortable and watch the new episode of House of Dragons. I hope you guys have a wonderful night, though. And thank you once again. Let me think. Didn't you just say Thursday? No, I said Wednesday. Wednesday. She was bread, then she hit the beach, became toast. I became toasty. Wednesday, y'all, not Thursday. I just got here and she's leaving. I'm sorry. I finished my 6 chapters, and usually I would try to get all the way to 2 hours, but it's House of Dragons, and I don't want to see any spoilers. Anyways, okay, for real, guys, good night and stay sweet, everyone. I will see you here Wednesday. Bye, y'all.